Have you ever poured your heart into a request, a proposal, or an opportunity, only to hear that crushing word, no? What if I told you that every single rejection you've experienced in your life wasn't actually about you at all, but rather about an invisible signal you were unknowingly broadcasting into the world? There's a mental technique that's been quietly transforming lives, turning seemingly impossible situations into guaranteed successes. And it has nothing to do with persuasion, tactics, manipulation, or becoming someone you're not. In fact, this technique is so counterintuitive that most people completely miss it, spending years trying to perfect their pitch, their appearance, or their credentials, when the real key to getting a yes exists in a place they never thought to look. Has this ever happened to you? You walk into a room feeling confident, you say all the right things, you've prepared meticulously, and yet somehow you can sense the resistance before they even open their mouth. Or perhaps you've noticed how some people seem to glide through life, getting opportunities handed to them effortlessly while you're working twice as hard and hitting wall after wall. The difference isn't luck, connections, or even talent. It's something far more fundamental, something operating beneath the surface of every human interaction you'll ever have. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Here's what most people don't understand about rejection. When someone says no to you, they're not actually responding to your words, your resume, or even your idea. They're responding to a frequency, an energetic signature that you're transmitting in that moment, completely. Unconsciously. Your nervous system is constantly broadcasting information about what you believe to be true about yourself and your place in the world. And other people are picking up on these signals faster than their conscious mind can even process them. Think about the last time you asked for something you desperately wanted, but secretly didn't believe you deserved. Maybe it was a raise, a date, a business opportunity, or even just asking someone for help. Can you remember that subtle tension in your chest, that slight hesitation in your voice, that microscopic moment where you braced yourself for rejection? That's the signal. That's what they felt from you before you even finished your sentence. And that internal expectation of no became a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because the universe is against you, but because your subconscious mind was working overtime to prove itself right. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you approach every interaction, every request, every opportunity from this moment forward. We're going to explore why traditional approaches to overcoming rejection completely miss the mark, focusing on external tactics when the real transformation happens in a place most people never access. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the exact technique that allows you to shift this internal frequency so profoundly that a yes becomes not just possible, but inevitable. The fascinating part is that this isn't about positive thinking or forcing yourself to believe something that feels untrue. This is about understanding a hidden mechanism in your consciousness that's been running your life on autopilot. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because understanding what's actually happening behind the scenes during every interaction will completely transform the way you show up in the world. Your consciousness isn't just observing reality, it's actively creating it, moment by moment, through a mechanism that scientists are only now beginning to fully understand. Think of your mind as a powerful projector, constantly broadcasting signals into what quantum physicists call a field of infinite possibilities. Every conversation you're about to have, every opportunity you're considering, every request you're planning to make, it already exists in multiple versions simultaneously. There's a version where you get a resounding yes, a version where you face rejection, and countless variations in between. They're all there, all real, all possible, waiting in this field, like channels on a television that you haven't tuned into yet. Here's the revelation that changes everything. When you walk into that meeting, send that message, or make that phone call, you're not entering a fixed reality with a predetermined outcome. You're collapsing those infinite possibilities into one specific experience through the frequency you're broadcasting internally. If your subconscious mind has been programmed to expect rejection, if somewhere deep inside you there's a belief that you're not worthy, not ready, not enough, then you're literally tuning your consciousness to the channel where no already exists. You're selecting that reality from the field and bringing it into your experience, not through your words or actions, but through the invisible signal your entire nervous system is transmitting. If you found value in this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This is where we explore the deeper truths about consciousness and transformation, and I'd love to have you along for the journey. The impact of this understanding is profound, because it means that the journey to getting a yes isn't about perfecting your external approach at all. It's about shifting your internal state, your energetic alignment, your subconscious expectations. And there's actual scientific evidence that proves this isn't just motivational philosophy or wishful thinking. There's a famous experiment in quantum physics that completely shattered our understanding of how reality works. Researchers discovered that particles of light behave differently depending on whether they're being observed or not. When unobserved, these particles exist in multiple states simultaneously as pure potential. But the moment a conscious observer enters the equation, the moment someone looks, measures, or pays attention, that wave of possibilities collapses into one definite outcome. What this tells us about human interactions is staggering. When you expect rejection, when you doubt yourself, when you internally brace for a no, you're not just having negative thoughts, you're actively participating in creating that rejection through the observer effect. Your nervous system translates that internal expectation into thousands of microsignals that others pick up instinctively. The slight tension in your shoulders, the hesitation in your voice, the way your eyes dart away for a split second, the subtle energy of desperation or fear emanating from your presence. People feel all of this beneath their conscious awareness, and they respond to that frequency rather than the actual words coming out of your mouth. This is documented science, not mysticism. The observer, which is you, your consciousness, your expectations, is shaping the observed reality, which is their response to you. Your mindset isn't just influencing your interpretation of what happens, it's literally determining what happens in the first place. The hidden truth that most people never grasp is that both the yes and the no exist simultaneously in every interaction until you collapse the possibility through your energetic state. The person sitting across from you, the decision maker, the potential partner, they're not operating from pure logic or fixed criteria. They're responding to a complex web of conscious and unconscious signals, and your internal frequency is the most powerful signal in that entire exchange. Write in the comments, "I'm shifting my frequency now." The real revelation comes when you understand why this pattern keeps repeating itself in your life, why no matter how much you improve your skills or perfect your approach, you seem to hit the same invisible ceiling over and over again. The answer lies in a hidden database that's been running your life on autopilot since you were a child, a collection of programs installed so early that you don't even remember they're there. Research in neuroscience has revealed something startling. Over 90% of your daily decisions, your reactions, your behaviors, they're not coming from your conscious, rational mind at all. They're being directed by patterns that were recorded into your subconscious decades ago, when you were too young to question whether they were actually true or helpful. Every time a parent dismissed your dreams, every moment a teacher told you that you weren't smart enough, every instance where you raised your hand and were ignored, every rejection from a friend group or romantic interest during those formative years, all of it got stored as data in your subconscious mind. And here's the critical part that most people never grasp. Your subconscious doesn't analyze this information or debate whether it's still relevant 30 years later. It simply accepts it as absolute truth and then works tirelessly to maintain consistency with that truth in your current reality. If your subconscious recorded the belief that you're not worthy of success, that asking for what you want leads to disappointment, that people naturally reject you, then it will orchestrate your life to keep proving that belief correct, not because it's trying to hurt you, but because maintaining consistency is its primary function. This is the hidden truth behind why positive thinking alone doesn't work. Why you can stand in front of a mirror repeating affirmations about confidence and worthiness, but still walk into the room feeling like an imposter. Your conscious mind might be saying one thing, but your subconscious is broadcasting the old program, and that's the signal people are actually responding to. The impact of this mechanism extends even further through something happening in your brain right now that's determining what you can and cannot see in your daily reality. There's a filter operating behind the scenes called the reticular activating system, and it might be the most powerful gatekeeper between you and the life you actually want. Every single second, billions of pieces of information are flooding your senses. Opportunities, possibilities, people who would say yes, situations where success is probable, they're all around you constantly. But your conscious mind can't process all of that data. It would be completely overwhelmed. So this filter acts as a screening mechanism, deciding what makes it through to your awareness and what gets blocked out. Entirely, rendered invisible as if it doesn't exist at all. The criteria this filter uses isn't based on logic or what would actually benefit you. It's based entirely on what your subconscious has already accepted as true about your reality. If this gave you a new perspective, tap that like button. It helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. If your subconscious programming says rejection is normal for you, that filter will literally screen out opportunities where yes is likely. You'll walk past the perfect person to approach, overlook the ideal timing for your request, miss obvious signals that someone is receptive to what you have to offer. Not because you're unlucky or unobservant, but because your brain has been programmed to only show you evidence that matches your existing beliefs. Meanwhile, someone else with different internal programming can walk through the exact same environment and see possibilities everywhere, doors opening, synchronicities happening, the right people appearing at precisely the right moment. The external circumstances are identical. The difference is entirely in the filter, in what their subconscious has been trained to recognize as real and relevant to their experience. This is why transformation isn't just about changing your thoughts or your behaviors. It's about reprogramming the filter itself, adjusting the frequency at which your reticular activating system operates, so it starts revealing the yes, opportunities that have been there all along, invisible to you until now. Put down, my filter is changing. So knowing all of this, understanding how your subconscious operates and how your reticular activating system filters your reality, the question becomes obvious. How do you actually reprogram these systems without triggering the resistance that blocks most attempts at transformation? This is where the hidden technique emerges, the one that slips past every defense mechanism your mind has, built up over the years. It's so elegantly simple that once you understand it, you'll wonder why nobody ever taught you this before. Instead of using affirmations or declarations that your subconscious can immediately argue with and reject, you use questions. Not just any questions, but carefully formulated ones that contain a hidden assumption embedded within them. When you tell yourself an affirmation like, "People always say yes to me," your subconscious mind instantly goes into defense mode, pulling up every piece of contradictory evidence it has stored. Every rejection you've ever experienced, every time someone said no, every moment you felt dismissed or overlooked, it all floods your awareness as proof that this affirmation is false. The resistance is immediate, and the statement bounces off your mental armor without ever penetrating the deeper layers where real change happens. But when you ask yourself a question, something completely different occurs behind the scenes. When you inquire, "Why do people respond so positively to my requests lately?" Or, "What shifted inside me that made getting a yes so natural?" Your conscious mind can't argue with it the same way. Questions create what psychologists call a cognitive gap, an open loop that your brain is neurologically wired to close. The human mind literally cannot tolerate an unanswered question. It creates a psychological tension. an incompleteness that your entire nervous system wants to resolve. So your brain automatically starts searching for answers, gathering evidence, making connections, scanning your memories and your environment for anything that supports the premise hidden in that question. The genius of this approach is in the assumption. You're not claiming that you're getting yes responses, which your subconscious could debate. You're assuming it's already happening and asking your mind to explain why. This bypasses resistance entirely because you're not fighting your current beliefs. You're inviting your subconscious to shift its perspective, to start noticing evidence that validates this new reality. And once that question is planted, your reticular activating system immediately adjusts its filter. It begins scanning your environment for proof that people do respond positively, for moments that confirm this perspective, for opportunities you would have completely missed before because they didn't match your old programming. The impact of this technique becomes exponentially more powerful when you understand that there's a window of time every single day that most people completely waste. A portal into your subconscious mind that remains open for approximately 60 seconds. Those final moments before you fall asleep, that transition between wakefulness and unconsciousness, might be the most potent opportunity you have to directly reprogram your internal frequency. Yet most of us spend it scrolling through devices, replaying the day's stresses, or drifting off to completely random thoughts. Something extraordinary happens in your brain during this transition that makes it the perfect moment to plant those powerful questions. As you move from full alertness into sleep, your brain waves shift from beta, which is your normal thinking state, down into alpha and then theta frequencies. These are the same brainwave patterns you had as a young child when your mind was wide open, absorbing everything without questioning or filtering. In this hypnagogic state, the barrier between your conscious and subconscious mind dissolves almost completely. There's no analytical voice pushing back, no inner critic debating whether something is possible. Whatever you impress upon your consciousness in these final moments goes directly into the subconscious and gets processed throughout the entire night as if it were absolute, unquestionable truth. Write in the comments, "I'm asking the right questions now." So instead of falling asleep, worried about tomorrow's meeting or replaying today's disappointments, you do something radically different. You bring yourself into a state of deep relaxation, and then at the peak of that calm, you plant your question. Not with desperation or force, but with genuine curiosity, as if you're inquiring about something that's already happened. Why has it become so easy for people to say yes to me? What changed inside me that made this transformation so natural? You fall asleep in that frequency, in that emotional state of it already being done. And during the night, while your conscious mind is completely offline, that new reality gets integrated, accepted, and woven into your subconscious programming as absolute truth. But transformation isn't just about the internal work you do in those quiet moments before sleep. The real magic happens when you carry that frequency into your waking life, when your daily actions and micro-decisions start matching the identity of someone who naturally receives yes responses. This is where most people stumble, because they do the mental work, but then walk through their day acting from the old identity, the old patterns, sending mixed signals that confuse both their subconscious and everyone around them. The journey to lasting transformation requires coherence between your internal state and your external behavior, and this alignment is what accelerates results from months into days. Think about how someone who effortlessly gets yes would approach a conversation. They wouldn't enter the room bracing for rejection or rehearsing defense mechanisms. They'd walk in with a quiet assumption that things work out, that people are generally receptive, that this interaction will go well. Not from arrogance or delusion, but from a deep internal knowing that their requests are valuable and that yes is the natural response. This isn't about pretending or putting on a performance. It's about making small choices throughout your day that reinforce your new frequency. How you walk into a room, the tone you use when speaking, the way you hold eye contact, the energy you carry when you ask for something. All of these micro moments are either confirming your old programming or establishing your new reality. When you maintain this alignment consistently, something remarkable begins to happen within 48 hours. People start responding to you differently without you changing a single word of what you're saying. The content of your requests might be identical, but the frequency you're broadcasting has shifted, and they feel that shift at a level deeper than conscious awareness. Reality literally bends toward your new frequency because you're no longer creating the energetic resistance that triggers the automatic no response. You're not pushing or forcing or trying to convince anyone of anything. You're simply inhabiting the version of yourself that already exists in the field of possibilities, the you that naturally receives. Positive responses. The practical application of everything we've explored comes down to a simple protocol you can use before any important interaction where you need a yes. Before you walk into that meeting, make that phone call, send that message, or ask for that opportunity, give yourself 60 seconds to consciously shift your state. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself the question, why do things always work out in my favor? Don't force an answer. Don't try to logic your way through it. Just feel into the question and notice what happens in your body. Your nervous system will begin to calm, the tension in your shoulders will release, your breathing will deepen, and your entire energetic signature will shift from resistance to receptivity. You're not being fake or manipulative. You're aligning with the version of reality where the yes already exists, and then showing up as the person who naturally inhabits that reality, who expects positive responses because that's been their consistent experience. Put down, I'm aligned with yes now. If you've made it this far, I want you to know something important. You're not here by accident. The fact that you stayed through this entire journey, that you allowed these ideas to settle into your consciousness, tells me you're genuinely ready for transformation. You're not looking for quick fixes or surface-level motivation that fades by tomorrow morning. You're seeking the deeper mechanisms, the hidden truth, behind how reality actually works. And that's exactly the kind of person I create this content for. If something clicked while you were watching this, if you recognized a pattern you've been running unconsciously, or felt a shift happening inside you, I'd genuinely love to have you as part of this community. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because what we explore here isn't just theory or feel-good content. It's the practical wisdom that bridges consciousness, science, and real world. Application. The kind of insights that can genuinely influence your decisions, reshape your mindset, and accelerate your entire journey. When you subscribe, you're making sure you don't miss the next revelation that might be exactly what you need to hear at exactly the right moment. Leave a comment down below saying, "This message was meant for me, so I know you were here until the end." I genuinely read every single comment, and it creates this beautiful connection, knowing we're all walking this path together, supporting each other's transformation. And if you felt value in what we explored today, just tap that like button. It helps more people discover this content, and honestly, it lets me know this message is landing the way it's meant to. There's a video right here that goes even deeper into how your internal frequency shapes the responses you get from the world in ways you probably haven't considered yet. Click and continue with me over there. I'll see you in the next one.